So one time, right after I'd been 450'd, and I was working for Ford and Benchworks, and Steve, or Fu, was still alive and living there, and Jennifer was manager. Robert Morelands, who is a local artist that worked for Steve Wilson, his father came to the shop and he said something so bizarre to me. He said, with like this really, and of course I was already aware, of like the authentic versus the fabricated or insertion of external triangulated data. And so he said, "You're not going to run for president or anything, are you?" And he gave me this like stone cold stare that was trying to see through my soul, and I was like looking around like, who are you talking to, sir? I just thought that was so strange. And that was also right around the time that poor woman that I worked for, and I was desperately trying to gain her approval, and I just could not do the gold leaf right for her lamps. That whole thing, I love lamp. It now makes total sense, because I really love low lighting. And I used to talk about it all the time. It's all about the low lighting and the lamps. I could not do the gold leaf right for her, and she was just like, this I thought this truly gifted person was going to be a win for me, and it's just been a big fail, and I just internalized that at such a terrible level, and I left feeling absolutely horrible. But before that happened, I was doing gold leaf on a piece of furniture that Ford and her were collaborating on or something, and she said something about Welsh second sight, and she kind of directed that at me. Anyway, this was a really weird, bizarre time. I could just not understand what this dude's father was trying to say. I was like, do you think that I would run for president, sir? Like, what are you talking about? I can barely even form a sentence. I was just thrown in the jaw center by like a bunch of policemen. There was a whole court case about it, and they actually referenced it in it was like the Trojan horse that implemented new precedent. What's the plural of precedents? Doesn't matter. Where it implemented more than one precedence, like a Trojan horse tends to do legally. It was referenced in one of the mock cases, I believe, of Harvard. That wasn't too hard to figure out. But what an absolutely terrifying time. I used to sleep on my fake parents' couch. I didn't know what felt more dangerous, being close to them or being far away from them. It was just, I couldn't ever feel safe anywhere, and then finally, I continued to test my reality, because I couldn't figure out what was real and who I could trust, and so, yeah, I can't even speak to how absolutely horrifying that time was, and how each day I woke up just thinking I was going to die, but how each day I woke up not wanting to be alive. I just don't even know how to talk about it, anymore. I feel so far removed and dissociated from that experience, that time frame of my life. It shocks me that, such a narrative could be so all-consuming and pervasive in the public opinion, which really does. It's a very impressive testament to the degree of control exerted over such a narrative, which essentially rides on or relies on the fact that I have no direct connection to having any say-so relative to it. There's this giant wall, and I have no ability to directly interact, whereas all these talking heads and everyone has this discourse pending about me, but cannot be spoken directly to me, and I can now directly speak to it without people going, "Oh, you're crazy. Time to go back to the crazy house." So, and I was constantly afraid that I would either be, something bad would happen to me, like physically, or that there would be some mechanism by which I'd be thrown back into a crazy house, so an asylum. So it's just constant state of fear. And then this dude's asking me about whether I want to run for the highest office in USA land, and I'm just like, what is this life? Please get me out of it. Okay, that's my story for this morning, and it was inspired by a billboard for the Baton Rouge airport.